Ah, Gregor.
Let's drink.
That's the idea. And what should we drink to?
How about to the abbot?
To the abbot it is. But wait a minute, lad. Which one?
To Abbot John.
That's more like it.
Let's drink.
That's the idea.
How about
To the abbot it...
to Peter?
So, to Peter. He's done so much for us, but his time is at hand.
Let's drink.
That's the idea.
How about
To the abbot...
to Neville?
To Nevlas? To the abbot he's never been and never
You mentioned Yodok. What does he do for you?
Well, nothing much. He's just a little suckling like you. He'll do whatever it takes to stay on our good side. Sometimes we make use of him when there are errands to...
Where'd you get the wine from? I thought the monastery cellars...
So they are. But this wine... Listen, lad, would you help us out with something? This cask is almost empty and we need a new one. We're a bit old for such exertions, but you, on the other hand...
I'll help you.
Ha! I knew it. Help Novice Yorick arrange for a new cask. Talk to him first thing in the morning, and by tomorrow night, the cask can be on the table.
All right, I'll talk to him.
About you and the
Ask me anything you want.
Tell me something.
Nevertheless is weak and toothless. He's full of hot hair. How anyone could think he'd make a good abbot is beyond me. Enough. Well, the young brothers feel they don't have the same rights and responsibilities. Nevertheless is lying when he says he wants to right wrongs. All he cares about are benefits.
I'd like to help you if I can.
I'm convinced Nevertheless must have done something that would greatly damage him if everyone found out. If he was preaching water and drinking wine, for example.
So I should dig something up on him and tell you about it?
Exactly. But I doubt you'll have any luck. Nevertheless is too cunning and careful to give anything away.
Once I find something... Thank you for Anne.
I'll be going, brothers. It's been good to sit with you a while.
Do us a favour, brother. Stay a little longer and have another drink with us.
Oh, all right. But that's the last... Let's play!
Just the man we've been waiting for.
I'll say one thing, brother. This wine would grace the Pope's table.
I'm not so sure. It's a bit sour. God knows what's in it.
Don't be absurd. It's a first-class cask, direct from Znojmo.
No, I know the taste of a good vintage, and this isn't it. I bet you that. Cask mixed up.
Nonsense, it's perfectly drinkable.
No, it isn't. It's sour. No matter. We'll get more soon, so good health.
Good health.
We'll have to take that Yodok to task about where he got this wine and tell him next time he'd better get proper Znojmo.
In a rush to pray?
Watch your step, brother.
Not now, brother.
Slow down, brother.
Not now, but...
For if the disciple obeys with an ill will and murmurs, not necessarily
Salve
with his lips,
Domine.
but simply in his heart, then even though he fulfills the command, yet his word will not be accepted from God, who sees that his heart is murmuring, and far from gaining a reward for such work as this, he will incur the punishment due to murmurers, unless ye amend and make
Why such haste? In a rush to pray?
Why such haste?
Why such haste?
In a rush to pray?
Why such haste?
What troubles you?
I found this piece of parchment. It looks like it's been ripped out of a book.
Who'd tear up a book like that? Brother Librarian.
I'd like to ask you something. Who's in...
Abbot Peter is the administrator of the monastery, but you won't see him. He's always traveling, and on top of that, he's old and infirm. Perhaps the good Lord will...
And what happens when the old abbot dies?
Then we elect...
Are there any can...
Yes, there are. Brothers John and Nevlas. On one side are brothers who'd like to see John as abbot. On the other, those who...
I'm looking for something a little, unorthodox.
And what would that be?
I'm looking for...
Lock picks?
I'd like to practice...
Well, why not? So you heard I used to be a burglar, did you? I put it all behind me as soon as I took the vows. But I do have a few lockpicks. I'll trade them for food. Get me a bite to eat, and you can have your lockpicks. Can't say fair.
Let's have a word about the price.
Well, we can try. I'm finished. What is it, brother?
Brother, I've a favour to ask. And I think you're the man...
I see. So it's the...
Well, yes. I need...
That won't be easy, I can tell you that straight off. A prior always keeps the key.
How could...
With great difficulty.
Could you take...
Rob the prior?
You wouldn't be doing it for...
Then what could you possibly pay me? I'm done with my thieving, and you'd have...
How much would you want?
A princely sum, brother.
That much?
Precisely. But no groschen?
You have some interesting skills for a monk. Don't...
What's there to tell? We were all young and foolish once. I was a student in Prague, completely broke, living from hand to mouth and studying all day. It wasn't...
So you turned to stealing?
I set about securing a livelihood as best I could. A goose? Without that little bit extra, I'd never have completed my studies. I would have turned into a beggar. And who else do you know that can say he's serving God?
No one, brother. Thank you for... I'm looking for some...
And what would...
I need to get some...
You're not the only one. But I have to keep records of all...
I need to get hold of some...
Well, I can't help you with that. And besides, what use would a weapon be in...
Oh, nothing.
Halt! Brother, you were somewhere you shouldn't have been. Don't you know your place? Don't you know where you're
Very well, brother.
Now, show me what you have on you. I must confiscate anything that's not allowed in...
Then watch your step, brother.
This is not a good time for question.
Not necessarily with his lips, but simply in his heart, then even though he fulfills the command, yet his word will not be.
Ah, Gregor. Talk to me.
I'd like to...
The rule of Saint Benedict
I'm Gregor, a novice.
begins on daily matters.
I know. I saw you at the ceremony. My name is Nevlis, and I'm the provost here. I'm in charge of the monastery's property, as well as handling trade.
That means you get to leave the monastery.
No, not at all. I just write lists.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm the provost of this monastery. It's my job to ensure the monks live a humble... But in reality, I spend all my time making sure my brother's gluttony and the construction of a new church don't swap...
Let them apply themselves to read.
I'm in...
You're not alone. Everyone's so worked up about that, they spent no time considering how they could make the monastery a better place now.
Why? What's wrong with it now?
Let him read to himself.
Many brothers think more about their stomachs than prayer. The older brethren bend the rules of the order to make them fit their interests. So, to balance the scales, they want the novices to lead exemplary life.
Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned
What sins are you talking about?
of such a nature as
The scripture says, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." I'm sorry, Gregor, it's not my place to speak about the sins of others.
taken into consideration by the abbot. The rule of Saint
Can you tell me about...
Peter's wise in the ways of politics and a good shepherd, but as you've already heard, he's old and infirm. The other brothers see him with one foot in the grave, but I still have hope. But you, brother, don't let yourself get involved in the games of your superiors. Could you help me with...
With what?
from Easter until the
I'm interested in medicine, and I know there's a cure for the abbot's ailment. With your help, I could find out the details, and together you and I could give old Peter a few more years to do good. What...
them apply themselves to read. After the 6th hour having left the table, let them rest on their
You can count on my help. What do you...
or if
In order to get the recipe for this medicament, a few rules will need to be broken. Now you know, most of the brothers believe every illness is a message from God, and that it's not our place to deny his will. I, however, think if God sent us not just illnesses, but also the medicine to cure them, then it's our duty to relieve people of their suffering. The cure for Abbot Peter's illness could be contained in one of the books in our library, but it will certainly be amongst the Libri Prohibiti, the forbidden books, those we aren't permitted.
rule of Saint Benedict. Reading.
Why are they forbidden?
Therefore, when anyone
Because they contain occult and demonic practices, witchcraft and all manner of evil. or so. It's nonsense, of course. This is nothing but a book of medicine, albeit one written. Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, is universally acknowledged to be a wise man. But here, at some point, someone decided his book was the work of a Saracen devil.
Where can I find it?
In the library, there's a large cabinet with a lock on it. The forbidden books are inside. You'll easily recognize what you're looking for. The cover has not only a Latin inscription, but also Saracen letters. Bring it to me. No one will notice if one book disappears, but if more were to vanish, someone would certainly begin to look into it, which is exactly what we don't want.
Is there anything you can tell me that would help?
There's a key to the cabinet in the prior's chambers. The librarian should have another one, or you can acquire some lockpicks. But I can't tell you where or how. Perhaps Brother Celerius could help.
Why can't you do it?
Because I'm one of the highest-ranking monks here, and one day I'd like to become abbot. Can you imagine me crawling around in the black of night searching for a forbidden book?
You could just ask for it.
Do you honestly think I haven't tried? Unfortunately, Librarian Cyril is a stubborn ass.
I'm ready.
One more important thing. There's always someone in the library during the day. To pass unwatched, you'll need to go at night. It's locked, but I'm sure you'll manage to. They say Brother Celerius understands locks, but don't tell him why you need it. Once you have the book, bring it to me, and I'll then use it to make Peter's medicine. We'll soon have the election of the abbot over and done with.
Is there any way I could help you get elected? Somehow tip the scales in your favour?
What would you like to do? Climb up the tower and shout, "Vote for Neverless, vote for Neverless"?
Not exactly. You do have an opponent, John.
John isn't my opponent, he's my brother. Just like you and everyone else here. But there is something you could help me with. You must know there's a great deal of iniquity here in the monastery. I'd be interested to hear of anything I don't know about.
Should I find...
Let me make this clear. I want to base my candidacy on putting things in order. But if I don't know exactly what's wrong...
Very good then. I'll find out what...
Thank you, brother.
I've discovered something about the...
I see.
But this very obedience will be acceptable to God and pleasing to men only if...
The cicadas go into the cellar at night.
I thought so. John always reeks of it. And he wants to be abbot.
Brother Yodok has been stealing wine for the cicadas so they can drink.
Yodok? Well, that little rat's shown his true colours. Do you know where he's still?
I don't know, unfortunately.
No matter. You've brought me important information.
That's all I know.
If you find out anything else, come to me.
What do you...
I'd be interested to hear about any iniquity in the monastery. I need to...
The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when anyone receives the name of abbot, he ought to govern his disciples...
Greetings, brother.
Greetings to you, brother. I'm Yodok, the oldest of the novices. I hope you'll like it here in the monastery and that you...
Trouble?
You're young, perhaps intemperate. You might easily stray from the rules of the order. I suggest you get to know the older monks.
I'm interested. What can you tell me about...
Oh, he's always got a smile on the new friend. But I reckon he don't belong in the monastery. He spends more time dreaming of the world outside than tending to his... I'm surprised he hasn't been thrown out already. If it was up to me, he'd be out on his ear...
Sounds like you don't have much time for him.
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Believe me, Gregor, he's hiding something from us. In fact, now I come to think of it,
Do you know?
Only that he came to the monastery voluntarily, because he didn't want to work in his father's shop. Antonius is all right. You can rely on him. He won't betray you. He's always happy to help, which is more than can be said for the other.
Knowing that it is written, the fool is not corrected with words. And again, beat your son with the rod, and you will deliver his soul from death. The rule of Saint Benedict.
I was talking last night with the brother Cicators.
Therefore, when anyone
It seems you're to...
the name of
Hey, well,
God governed his disciples with a twofold teaching. That is to say, he should show them all that is good
I'd like to help you.
by his deeds even more than by his words.
to get hold of the wine, we'll have to leave the monastery for a bit. I know it's forbidden, but if wine started going missing here, someone would notice. But to leave the monastery, we need the keys. And only the...
Wait a moment. Are you saying I'm supposed to steal the prior's keys so I can go and steal wine somewhere else?
You see why I don't want to do it myself now, do you? I don't have what it takes. I can't get those keys, but you could.
But you've done it once before, haven't you?
Last time the prior was sick, and he left the monastery keys in the Circator's care. So they unlocked the gates for me. This time we'll have to steal the keys.
By the brutes as soon as they begin to appear. Remembering the fate of Heli,
How can I get hold of the keys, do you think?
the well-disposed
I don't know, but it might be possible to do this without them. Brother Celerius, the cellar keeper, used to be a burglar. He knows his way around locks, and maybe could help us, if you could find a way to...
Do you think he'll want to take part in theft?
No, but he could give some advice, or maybe get some lockpicks to open the gate. You'll figure some.
If you think so.
Once you have the key or some lockpicks, come and see me and we'll make our plan.
Can you tell me something about yourself?
I would if there was anything noteworthy to say. I'm just the ordinary son of a landowner, now a monk. There's nothing in my past, present.
Why did you join the monastery?
Because it was better than living in poverty. As the youngest son, I'm not entitled to inherit my father's estate, but he was kind enough to sell off some cattle and send me. And you know what? I'm glad to be here. It's better than mucking...
Who would you vote?
Why do you care? We don't have the right to vote, so we shouldn't get mixed up.
I'm just interested, that's all.
I like John better. But like I've said, it's not our place to get involved. It's enough that Antonius is mixed up in it. Don't...
Listen, there's something I ought to tell you. There's a dangerous criminal hiding in the monastery, and I...
Ha! I knew it! He's a villain. It's better not to ask, isn't it? It's... Oh,
Never mind that. Who's a villain?
that's Siskin. I always thought he was an odd one, the way he carries on. But now it makes perfect sense. He's a criminal fleeing
You mean his not going to morning prayers?
So you noticed that too?
Actually,
I think when you take a closer look at Siskin, you'll find he's the one you're looking for.
you've got the wrong end of the stick. That has nothing to do with anything.
You think so? He definitely acts like a criminal. Who else?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
What are you going to do to that fellow once you find...
That's not your concern.
You should talk to the Circators or the Prior about it. Not act on your...
the rule of Saint Benedict.
What is it, brother? And what?
Lock?
Picks?
I'd like to...
Well, why? So you heard I'll trade them.
Receive it as a divine command, and cannot suffer any delay in executing it. But this very obedience will be acceptable to God and pleasing to men only if what is commanded is done without hesitation. Delay, lukewarmness, grumbling, or...
I'm Gregor, and I'm new.
For the
I
obedience
know.
given to
I saw you in the church during the ceremony.
For if the
I have a
disciple
feeling
obeys
we'll be
his
meeting
will
again
burn,
soon.
not
What does that mean?
necessarily with his
I
lips,
make
but
sure
with his
everyone
heart.
observes the rule,
Even
does
though
their work in the
fulfills
temple.
And when it's not the way it...
But then we're authorized to mete out punishment. But certainly,
Sees that his heart is murmuring, and far from gaining a reward for such work as this, he will incur the punishment due to murmurers, unless he amend and make satisfaction. The rule of Saint Benedict, readings on humility. The first degree of humility is obedience without...
brother,
This is the
what are you doing
virtue
here?
of those who hold nothing
shouldn't you be
dearer
working
than
somewhere?
Christ, who, because of the holy service they have
I had
professed,
other affairs
and
that needed
fear
to be
of hell,
attended to
the
immediately.
glory of life
Really?
everlasting. As
This
soon as
time
anything
I'll
has
look
been
the other
ordered by
way.
the superior,
But
receive it as a divine command and cannot suffer any delay in executing it. But this very obedience will be acceptable to God and pleasing
What troubles
to men only if what is commanded is done without hesitation. Delay.
Will you tell me something about yourself? Look, nothing against you, but I prefer not to talk.
For the obedience given to superiors is given to God. For if the disciple obeys,
Are you hot? I hate to think of all I lost when
but simply in his heart,
I was
then even
I've
though
no...
he fulfills the command, yet
That's all I...
his work
Please.
will not be acceptable to God.
I'm still...
He sees that his
It's no
heart
big
is
terrible
murmuring.
secret. Real...
Far from gaining a reward for such work as this, he will
What kind of a book is it?
punishment due to murmurers.
I found it here in the library. It was on a shelf where it should never have
The
been.
rule of Saint
So
Benedict,
I hid it to read later.
readings on the
It's the
spirit of
Necronomicon.
Let us do what the prophet
Ghosts,
says.
demons, and invocations of powers beyond our
Guard my
world.
ways, that I may not sin with
Only
my
it's written in
tongue.
a strange
I
language
answer to
that I
God
can't
for my
really
mouth.
make sense of.
I was
All
mute
bara
and
this
was
and
humble,
bara that.
kept
Who
silent
knows what it
and
means?
Here
I
the
tried to
prophet
count the
says that
syllables,
spirit
read the
of
words
silence
backwards,
often
but...
lead us at
Oh,
times to refrain
I'm not too sure what the prior or the cicada
so
would say
much
about a
the
book
more
like that.
the punishment
Actually,
of
what
sin
en-
because of
Ah,
those evil
prejudice.
works. Therefore,
But you're
since
right,
the
it
spirit
is
of
biblical.
silence so important.
For no good reason, though.
Speech should rarely be granted even to perfect disciples, even though it be for good.
If it wasn't harm...
Edify.
That's a rather limited view of the world.
For it is written,
Some write
"So
about
much
the saints,
speaking you will not
others
escape
about
sin."
demons. And an
And
educated
another
person should know both.
Death and life
Pity I
are
can't
the
understand
power
a word.
of the tongue.
Just please
For
don't tell
speaking
anyone
and
about the book.
teaching belong to the
If the
master.
brothers learn that I
The
took it from the
disciples
library and
are
hid it,
silent.
I'll be in a lot of trouble.
And for that reason, if anything
Our
must be
brothers'
asked of
minds
the
are
superior,
closed to
it
a-
should be asked with all the humility and submission inspired by reverence. But as for coarse jests
I'll leave you
and
be.
idle words or
Don't worry.
words that move to
Thank
laughter,
you.
these
And
you
please,
condemn
Gregor.
everywhere with a perpetual ban.
I'm
And
still...
to such conversation we do not permit a disciple to open his mouth. The rule of Saint
Thank you.
Benedict. Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when anyone receives the name
It's-
of abbot, he ought
I'll
to
tell the
govern
abbot.
his disciples
I'm sure he'll be
according
keen to hear what the monks...
That
What?
is to say, he
A
should
man
show them all
pours
that
his
is
heart
good
out to you
and
when you
holy,
play
by
Judas.
his deeds even more than by
About
his
this
words.
for enough.
expounding
Say a
the
word
source
about this to
commandments,
anyone and
words
I'll wring your
intelligent
neck.
among his disciples,
Touch anything I've buried here, and you'll...
demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those of harder hearts.
What is it, brother?
and ruder minds. The abbot should always remember what he is and what he is called. And should
There's
know
something I
that
should tell you.
more
Something you won't be happy... I'm here to find someone, and,
Let him make no
well, to do away with him. But listen, it's not murder. Not when it's a man like him. He's one of the brigands who burned down Neuhoff.
What's he doing here? And who...
They call him pious because he used to be a priest. When he found out a lot of people were after him, he hid away here. And as you can see, they sent me here to find him and bring him to justice. He's one of...
So we have one outlaw and one assassin in our midst. This place is a lot more exciting than I...
Well, that's just it.
Let him correct with verbal admonition the first and second time. But bold, hard, proud, and disobedient characters.
I suspect it could be your...
Do you know, that occurred to me too. Murdoch's a scoundrel and a cheat. I believe he'd be capable...
The fool is not corrected with words. And again, beat your son.
It could be
with the law.
Antonius?
He will deliver his soul.
Antonius? He's a fine fellow. No, it can't be him. Although...
See how hard it is?
Idleness
It could be
is
anyone,
enemy
and at the
of
same
soul.
time, nobody...
Therefore, the brethren should be occupied.
It could
at
be
certain
you.
times
What
with
on
manual
earth makes
labor,
you think that?
and again at fixed hours
My
with
being
secret
unfit for
meetings.
holy orders
To
doesn't
that
make me a...
end, we think that the times for each may be prescribed as follows. From
For
Easter
now,
until
you're the
calendar
prime...
of
That can't be true.
when they come out
Nothing
to
is
find
true,
the morning,
everything
let
is
them labor
permitted.
at whatever
Isn't that
is
so?
necessary
Are you some
till
kind of
about the
lunatic,
fourth
Gregor?
hour. And from the 4th hour until about the 6th, let them apply themselves to reading. After the 6th
Watch
hour,
your
having
step.
left the table,
Slow
let
down.
them rest on their beds in perfect silence. Or if anyone may perhaps want to read, let him read to himself in such a way as not to disturb anyone.
I'm Gregor, a novice. I know. It was hard not... And you are? Lucas, also a novice. Don't get upset, but I don't...
Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned a task or craft of such a
In the
nature
night, I overheard the cicadas in this...
Oh, no. So it's still not over. This isn't a life and service of God. This...
Lucas, what's going on?
What do you think? Just like you, I saw the cicadas drinking and playing hazard as if they were in a brothel.
The first degree of humility is obedience without delay. This is the virtue of those who hold nothing dearer than Christ.
We should report them.
Because of the holy service.
I agree.
And in fear of hell.
I warned them if they didn't stop, I'd go and tell the prior. But instead of mending their ways, they vented their anger on me.
You've picked the wrong people to make enemies of, Lucas, he told me. Now I can't even count how many days and nights I've spent locked up in solitary confinement for the tiniest offenses. Or for...
Warmness, grumbling, or objection. For the obedience given to superiors is given to God. For if the disciple obeys with an ill will and murmurs, not necessarily with his lips, but simply...
Is there something I can do to help?
Would you? I think all it might take is for you to go and sit down with them. Have a talk, set things straight. Then they'd leave me alone. I'm afraid even this path leads nowhere. They're probably...
I'm not afraid of them.
Brother, you have the courage. May the grace of God be upon you.
Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren...
Will you tell me?
There's nothing...
I mean, where you're from, what sort of life you had before.
I'm a novice, and my monastic name is Lucas.
You see, You're
looking for someone?
I am a novice. At least until I find the man.
Why would you be looking amongst monks? You know, the laws of man aren't valid here. In the cloister, we're subject to divine law.
I'm looking for a footpad who's hiding out here in the monastery. He had a hand in raising the Neuhoff farm. He's taken many
I heard something about that. But why are you telling...
Because you could help me. It has to be one of the...
That can't be. Have you told the prior? What are you going to do to this man once you find him?
Talk to him. Do you have any idea which of the novices could be the impostor?
I don't know, and I don't care to know. I wish you'd never told me. Now I won't be able to sleep at night.
Must be taken into consideration by the abbot.
I've heard some unsettling news. I've been told you've lied about who you are the entire time you've been here. What do you have to say about it? Who are you really?
It's true that I'm not who I say I am. I'm not the young Lord Carl. He ran away and sent me in his place.
Why would you agree to that?
Money. I was drowning in debt, and the money from Sir Carl helped my family stay afloat. Carl never wanted to become a monk, but Father, I found peace here in the monastery. It's better for me to serve God here than continue my life of sin in the world outside.
Thank you for your honesty. Because you've told the truth, I'll forgive you for deceiving us. Continue to be an exemplary monk, and I promise I'll forget about what's happened. Well, unless someone from Sir Carl's family intervenes, then I'll have no choice. I'll have to deal with the situation.
Thank you for your kindness, brother.
Since he has the authority, let him cut out those faults by the roots as soon as they begin to appear. Remembering the fate of Heli, the priest of Silo, the well-disposed and those of good understanding, let him correct with verbal admonition the first and second time. But bold, hard, proud, and disobedient characters, who should curb at the very beginning of their ill doing by stripes and other bodily punishments. Knowing that it is written, the fool is not corrected with words. And again, beat your son with the rod, and you will deliver his soul from death.
Praise be to Christ.
In the night, I saw the brother cicadas drinking.
And why aren't you spending your nights sleeping instead of creeping around spying on your...
I only wanted to...
I know, brother, I know. But you need to understand that novices shouldn't be poking their noses into the affairs of...
Even if something...
Even then, I'm afraid. Who are you compared with them? Wait till you know what's what, and in the meantime keep your... Life in a monastery is much like life outside in many ways. The monastery walls don't keep out human pride and hatred.
Really? I thought monks were above that sort of human.
They became monks, Gregor, but that didn't stop them being men. Be on your guard as much as you ever were outside. Lies, jealousy, vengeance. They can hurt you here as much...
Thanks for the advice.
That's up to you, brother.
Ah, Gregor.
I'm interested in...
No one knows much about him. He doesn't talk to anyone. He works, eats. It's as if he wanted to get it all over with as soon as possible.
What about...
Be on good terms with him. If you show even the slightest hint you don't like him, he's a slimy little pedant who'll rat you out to the superiors. Once he finishes his novitiate...
That's all. Thanks.
Peace be with you, brother.
What would you like?
Let's talk...
Well, we can...
Agree?
That's too much.
Very well.
What troubles you?
Get out of my sight, you rat!
Gregor, talk to me. I'd like to ask... Are there ever any... Unfortunately, yes. I understand. Can you tell me something? 7 centuries ago, Saint Benedict of Nursia wrote a collection of monastic rule. The fundamental precepts are obedience, work. Do you never want to know what's going on out there? And what should be going on? The sky is just as blue, and the grass is just as green. Perhaps the rulers change, but the greatest ruler of them all... I'm interested... It was founded by Saint Procopius 500 years ago. After his death, heretics occupied the place for some time, but then the order was restored.
Heretics, you say?
They wanted to worship God with some foreign rituals, in a language foreign to God. They were driven away.
What are the roles of the...
Well, the abbot is the head, but he's not here now. Then there's the... As a novice, you should be particularly mindful of the circators. They're the ones who maintain discipline and punish.
You've got a strong constitution. Anyone else would have certainly died.
What happened?
Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a young boy. He was lost and miserable. He had no future. He was tempted by his friends into doing some foolish things, but he wasn't truly bad, because when it came down to it, he ran away rather than keep doing foolish deeds. His former friends didn't take kindly to that, though, and wanted to punish him. So they sent a hunting dog to find him and rip his throat. The boy wasn't stupid, though, and he knew that the hound was coming. He poisoned some food, and when the hound showed up, he gave it to him. He didn't expect the beast to live, but it did. And all of a sudden the boy was sorry for what he tried to do. So he offered to make a bargain with the hound.
It was you that poisoned me.
Don't take it personally. Kill or be killed. You know, we're both pawns in someone else's game. They have plans for us, but we don't have to let them use us. We can just forget all about it and go our own way. I was a bandit, and I was at Nyhoff. I've robbed and stolen, but I swear to God I've never in my life slain innocent people. What I saw at Nyhoff made me realize my life was worth shit, but I still had a chance to change for the better. Here in the monastery I've had plenty of time to think things over, but then you showed up and fucked it all up.
So the evildoer changes his ways and finds God. What exactly are you proposing?
both of us can leave this place. You can go back to your people, and I can go somewhere where I can live out my life in peace, and no one will try to kill me. If we work together, we can both get what we want.
What if I wanted a different option?
You could kill another novice, I suppose. If news of the murder got out from the monastery, my former friends might believe I'm dead. But I'm offering you a solution that doesn't require any killing. Before we make a run for it, we'll make it look like someone's killed me. Loads of blood, a tattered scrap of my habit, and footprints leading towards the river. No one will bother looking for my body there. There we'll split up. You go for your bounty, and I'll get as far away from here as I can.
Good. Let's do it your way.
Good. I'm glad that despite our initial discord, we could reach an agreement. Here, take something to calm your stomach. Now we'll need the keys to the monastery, and some blood to make the tracks.
And where am I supposed to get my hands on blood in a monastery?
You'll find a parchment in the kitchen with a list of ingredients on it, all the things they're ordering. Add blood for making soup to the list. And when it's delivered the next day, take it before anyone notices it's even come.
What do I need the keys to the monastery for?
How else will we get out? This place is practically a prison.
Getting the keys won't be easy.
I know, but Brother Salarius is a reformed thief. I'll bet he still has a few lockpicks lying about. If you know how to use them, they'll be worth, or there's the hard way. Steal the keys from the prior.
They both sound hard to me. What are you going to do?
I need to get ready for a long journey. Prepare supplies, get some normal clothing somehow. That sort of thing. You can escape in that habit, but I need to vanish as fast as I can.
All right, that's everything I need to know.
Excellent. Come and see me once you have everything. And try to be as fast as you... And Gregor...
That would sound more sincere if you hadn't just tried to kill me.
That's why I'm thanking you. For being so reasonable despite what I did. For what it's worth, I'm glad the poison didn't kill you. And we can both come through this...
Peace be with you.
Watch your step.
There's something I should tell you. Something secret.
You're looking for something?
I am a novice.
Why?
I'm looking for a...
I...
Because you could help.
That...
I don't know yet.
It won't be easy to drag this criminal away.
Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
In a rush to pray?
In a rush to pray?
What do you desire, Brother Gregor?
Brother Cicator, my friend.
What would you like?
No, I'm here because of Novice Lucas. I've heard there's some discord with it.
Only because that weasel wants to put an end to our nighttime fun. So
I'd appreciate it if you treat him like a brother again.
if he isn't afraid of us, there's nothing to stop him ratting us out. But what do you care, anyway?
He hates you because you trample all over him and he has nothing to lose. If you show him just a bit of kindness, he'll think again about taking you on.
Fine. You've convinced me. You can tell him, beware of Lucas. He might corrupt you.
What do you mean?
He's a sodomite, a sinner. He might try to get you into the habit, or out of it.
I didn't know that.
What troubles you?
About those keys.
Did you get them? Keys?
Not yet.
Well, hurry up then. You don't want to keep the brothers...
I spoke to the cicadas about how...
Really? Did you manage to
But you have to promise not to tell anyone what you saw them doing. Then they'll leave you alone.
That's a promise I'd be glad to make. I'm forever in your debt, brother. Because now I know I can trust you. There's something I want to tell you. I wouldn't like to say something that isn't true. God forbid I should cause harm by my words, but this is something I'm sure of. Novice Antonio...
What makes you say that?
He claims he's a merchant's son from Vlashen, and that he joined the order voluntarily. The thing is, I spent a great deal of time in Vlashen. I know it like the back of my hand, and no one even remotely like Antonius has ever lived there.
Are you sure? Because this could mean that...
It's true, or Canute isn't my name. That would be my secular name, by the way, but that's not important. I know Vlashen, and I know the local merchants there, and I've never seen Antonius among them. Why would he be lying if he had nothing to hide?
Thank you for telling me. Oh, look...
Credo in unum Deo.
What is it, brother?
I've heard you're from Vlash...
Yes, why do you ask? And more importantly, where did you hear it? Since I'm quite sure I've never told you.
Because I've heard otherwise. You aren't from Vlashen.
And who told you that? Whoever it was, he's a liar.
Peace be with you, brother.
What trouble?
I'd like...
What would you like?
I'm here to work.
Excellent. I've been waiting for you. There's the alchemist's laboratory. Today's task, 2 cockerel potions. Once you finish them, you'll find me somewhere nearby. Don't forget to let me know when you're done so I can check.
Salve. Be well.
Don't even look at that cabinet. It contains forbidden books.
Praise be to Christ.
I'm here to work.
Good. This is most likely the first time you've ever done this in your life. But it's easier than you... Here's the original, and here are the blank parchments on which you'll copy what you... Oh, this is quite inexcusable, boy. What would you like?
I found this...
There appears to be a page...
Ovid? What is that? Is it the name of a book?
Not what, but who? Ovid was a great Roman poet. We have a few volumes. Now I believe I can guess what happened. Brother Eustace, may the earth rest lightly on him, was quite narrow-minded when it came to classical literature. If he'd had his way, all such books would have been burned. Ovid's The Art of Love must have been such a thorn in his side that he stole it from...
Oh, would you like...
Absolutely. Eustace's wits weren't the sharpest, so I imagine he hid them throughout the monastery. It might take you a while to find them all, but when you do, you can rest assured Ovid will return to his rightful place.
Good.
Thank you, bro.
Can you tell me something?
The Art of Love is a sort of manual instructing young people how to find and maintain love. It's a lovely work. I don't understand what bothered you.
Where should I...
If I knew, I wouldn't have asked you to do it.
I've heard there are some forbidden books locked up in the...
That's correct. They're here, safely hidden away.
What if I...
You could not. They are libri prohibiti. And the...
Not even if I were to beg? Or promise a...
If you could prove to me...
Could a book be prohibited by mistake?
No errors are made. Every book on the prohibited list is...
How does a book...
Forbidden works are full of heresy and blasphemy and witchcraft. If you ask me, we should burn them in...
I don't need to hear anything else.
Don't even look at that cabinet. It contains forbidden books. What do you do?
I know.
But I've no time for idle chat.
What, you do nothing else?
It is my penance and my blessing. Get away from my cabinet.
Watch your step, brother.
Talk to me, brother.
I've heard about a vit.
Who told you about that?
Is it possible?
Only the abbot and the prior.
And can I see them?
No. Watch your step, brother.
Oh, you're interested in what's inside? Forbidden books, written by the devil himself. Forget about it.
What do you...
I found a few.
Wonderful. Keep looking then.
I'd like... Tell me some...
Prayer, work.
Who's in charge?
Abbot Peter is the...
And what happens when the old abbot...
Then we elect... What do you...
Oh, you're interested in what's inside? Forbidden books, written by the devil himself. Forget about them.